This week, it's off to work we go. Let's talk about jobs. Welcome to Bentonville, Arkansas. Ever heard of it? You've definitely heard of what started here, Walmart, America's largest private employer. More than 1 million Americans work for Walmart. But let's face it, jobs aren't what they used to be. This week, we're showing you how the employment landscape is changing, from the store aisles to the coal mines, from robotics to retail. The countdown to November is on. It's time to clock in. This is The Race. Welcome into The Race. I'm Chris Stewart. Thanks for joining us. And from this 5 and 10 store in Bentonville, Arkansas, a small town here, to more than 11,000 stores across the world, Walmart is the world's largest retailer and America's largest private employer. And just to put that into perspective for you, how about this math? Right now, there's about 156 million workers in America. 1.5 million of them work for Walmart. So think about this, 1 in about every 100 workers works for the retail giant. So you can see why Walmart is such a big deal when we talk about jobs. But this week, we do want to start with an industry that's struggling. Nicole Val digging into the coal mining industry, talking to some miners who are moving on, others who are still holding on to hope. We get started in a small town in eastern Kentucky that is hoping that coal makes a comeback.
The home of Kentucky coal can be found here on the state's east side. The city of Hazard in Perry County, one of the top 3 coal-producing areas within the bluegrass border. It's also a place hit hardest by the gradual collapse of the coal industry.
I mean, it's just tearing everything apart.
Mayor Jimmy Linden has called Hazard his home his entire life and has seen what coal cutbacks have done to his neighbors.
Some of the miners are making $20-some an hour, and when these mines shut down, you take that and compare it to unemployment.
To give you an idea of the drastic decline, coal jobs here in 2016 tanked to the lowest they've been in over a century. Right now, unemployment sits at 7.3%, close to twice the national average. 6 years ago, this mine employed over 600 people, but a few years ago, that number dramatically dropped. Massive layoffs cut their staff by 2/3 to under 200. But the hit to jobs in Hazard is softening slowly.
And this is also where we load our coal out, on trains that's shipped.
Eric Lewis considers himself one of the lucky ones.
I've been very lucky. I wasn't affected by any of the layoffs in the mining industry.
There aren't many of you.
There's not.
He gives us a tour of one of the prized black gold producers in Hazard, Perry County Coal. His bread and butter.
This is the finished product here.
Lewis has worked several jobs on the surface and underground and has seen the rise and fall firsthand.
It's just been a lot of changes.
But the most recent change here is one he can embrace.
It's Teresa.
Teresa Blair does the hiring here.
Yes, dear.
And yes, they are hiring.
It sure is a lot more fun to hire than it is to lay people off.
This sign went up 4 weeks ago, and instantly eager prospects started rolling in.
We probably got 100 applications in the first 7 working days.
Right now, the plan is to fill 120 positions and keep going to keep those holding out happy.
I've done a lot of rehiring. I've hired some of those people back that stayed. It's wonderful to be able to put people back to work.
Hope. It's what seems to be keeping Hazard going.
When you care about people and you care about your little coal community and you see it go down so far and then to see it making its way back, gives you some hope.
And after handling an industry that hit rock bottom, the biggest hope of all is to keep hope alive.
I love to hear that whistle blow.
Especially here in the home of Kentucky coal.
You gotta have hope, so let's dig in and see what we can do.
For The Race, I'm Nicole Val.
When it comes to growing jobs and the economy, Republicans and Democrats are fundamentally different in their approach. Corey Rangel taking a look at why they're so far apart.
We have so many jobs now coming in.
Jobs. It's one of the president's favorite things to talk about.
We've created almost 4 million new jobs since the election.
Republicans who control the House and Senate also like to brag about the job market.
On this Congress watch, our economy has produced so many job opportunities for the American people.
More people are finding work.
Companies are expanding. Confidence is surging.
Democrats argue it's not the average worker that's benefiting in this economy.
In the Trump economy, big, wealthy corporations are cashing in. The top 1% are doing great, and American workers are falling behind.
According to government numbers, right now the unemployment rate is among the lowest in the past 10 years. Republicans credit their tax plan and the president for cutting regulations.
EPA restrictions, labor restrictions that hurt job creators. He's really had a very pro-growth agenda that has resulted in very low unemployment and a strong economy, and that's something that he can talk about and Republicans can talk about as they campaign in advance of November's election.
And while more Americans may be working, Democrats argue most Americans are not making more money as wages have fallen flat.
People are not seeing a rise in their income, and that's going to start to impact workers and jobs as well.
Another issue that could hurt jobs, the president's trade war, which Democratic candidates could use as an issue heading into the midterms.
The trade war that he started with our allies is impacting people who voted for him and those people who didn't vote for him. I hope they'll give real life examples of how people have lost their jobs as a result of these policies.
There are certain concerns about the impact of these tariffs, but whether you agree with him or disagree with him, it shows that he's at least trying to address the concerns of blue-collar workers who have seen their jobs go overseas.
For The Race, I'm Corey Rangel.
When we return, we're going to be taking a look at how technology is evolving. Places like Walmart even now using robots. But what lines of work should be concerned about a robot revolution? That's when The Race continues.